So look, I feel like a lot of us we tend to try to explain ourselves to people. Like we try to justify the things that we do. You know. Um, I was chilling with my people the other day, probably like 2 or 3 days ago, and they started like arguing about something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but they was just sitting there and they was arguing, and I kind of just was like sitting there. You feel me? Cause I'm not the type to get involved in no drama that don't concern me. You feel me? Even if it do, I don't care for drama, so I'm not gonna sit there and, you feel me, entertain it. But I noticed that the whole argument was based off of them both trying to justify themselves. You feel me? So like, oh, I do remember. All right, so basically they had to go to this place, right? I think they was going to go get food, and the place where they get food, it sells out of like what they be serving really early, because the food be extra good. I can't lie, it be really good, but it be selling out by like noon. You feel me? Like 12 o'clock. So my people, they wanted to get up at like 10 o'clock. That way they can all get ready and stuff. And you know, one of my people, they overslept. You feel me? So they end up, when they wake up, they woke up probably like 11:30, right? Nobody woke him up, nothing. You feel me? So they go and they are rushing him, like, bro, you gotta like get ready. Like, what are you doing? Like, you feel me? But he's like, man, I gotta go shower. You feel what I'm saying? But anyways, these is all like irrelevant details. But so they sit there and they arguing like, yo, like, why didn't you get up and stuff, like we told you yesterday, like da 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 da. And Cub was like, you know, it was like, man, like, it's not my fault. And it's like, like, just trying to justify like why they slept in. And then he made a good point. He was like, well, why didn't you wake me up? And they were like, oh, cause da da da. So they were both just justifying themselves, right? And I took that and I was like, bro, this is how most arguments get started in the first place. A lot of people, when they try to argue their perspective, I feel like that's when you really lose an argument. Like, you set yourself up to lose. The moment that you are trying to argue your feelings, your emotions, your thoughts, your ideas, I feel like that's when you really lose. Because you don't owe nobody that explanation. You don't have to explain yourself to nobody. As long as you know the truth, that's really all that matters. Now, you can try to give reassurance to people. You can try to help people, maybe understand if they're willing to. But you shouldn't have to feel like you're forcing your ideas on someone. Like you're trying to get them to understand. Because the simple fact that you have to try it shows that they don't want to understand. Because if you want to understand, you don't have to try to. You feel me? Like, you don't need to try to understand 2 plus 2. If you want to learn 2 plus 2, then you will simply learn 2 plus 2. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if that's a good analogy, but it's just like, man, stop arguing your perspective. Like, it don't matter if people understand you or not. And they don't have to understand you or not. It doesn't matter who it is. For me growing up, I was never understood by people. Like, my mama, she never understood why I did the things I did. And I'd always get in trouble because of it and get punished and consequences, get my stuff taken. You feel me? But when I did try to explain myself, it was like it went in one ear and out the other. Or what I was saying was being used against me. You feel me? And I had to realize, like, bro, it's pointless. It's pointless for me to try to explain myself to someone who doesn't want to understand. You feel what I mean? Now, thankfully, over the years, I've been able to word what I'm doing in a way to where whether they want to or not, they can still understand it. You feel me? But I feel like for most people who don't practice those type of skills of, you know, in the way that they structure their sentences in order to get people to understand, if you don't practice that, bro, stop worrying about trying to prove yourself to people, justifying yourself. Because ultimately, it's safe to say you're doing it for validation. I'm gonna be honest. You're doing it because you don't want to get judged. You feel me? And that just tells me that you're not secure in what you're doing. Because I feel like if you truly do know what the truth is about what you do and why you do it, if you truly know that, I feel like you don't got no reason to prove it to somebody. I don't care who it is. If it's your best friend, your family, a stranger online, you feel me? A stranger walking down the street, it don't matter. Why does everyone need to have that level of access to you? They don't. Who you are and who you strive to be and what you strive to do, that's not everybody's business. It's only your business unless you choose to share with other people. But people ain't gonna treat what you share with them with that same level of delicacy that you show it. You know what I mean? What you're passionate about, people might just come around and just talk bad on it. Now I hope that you don't have to experience something like that, but it's the truth. Some people are like that. You know what I mean? And it could be biased just based off of my experiences. And I'm not trying to sit here and say that nobody ever should get an explanation from you. That's not what I'm trying to preach. You feel me? But what I do mean is understand that when people aren't being receptive to the message that you're giving them, you have no place to continue to try to force it onto them. I don't care what the message is, how strong of a message it is. I say the only times it is respectable or it is righteous to push a message onto someone is if it is life altering. And what I mean by that is, like, let's say your brother come to you, or your sister come to you, or your mother or your father come to you, or whoever, right? Your best friend. Let's use your best friend, right? Let's say your best friend come to you, and he or she is talking about selling crack or buying crack, and they want to try some coke. You feel what I'm saying? In that situation, I don't care if they trying to hear it or not. I'm gonna sit there and I'm not gonna stop telling them to not do that shit until they don't do it. You feel what I mean? Whether they mess with me after it or not, because I'm not gonna let them ruin their lives like that. You know? So I shouldn't say that not every message, but I will say if they're not finna get killed by what you gotta say, or if you're not preventing them from getting killed, if you're not preventing them from going to jail, if you're not preventing them from some crazy like addiction or horrible habit, right? There's no reason to force your message onto them. There's no reason to try to justify what it is you're trying to say to them. And especially there's no reason to try to prove yourself to them. Feel me? If someone's trying to judge you for something that you're doing, like if they don't understand why you sitting there on YouTube, or why you sitting right now listening to this video, if they don't understand it, but you know that you trying to grow yourself and you trying to better yourself, you don't gotta prove that to them. Let your actions speak for itself. Let the work that you put in speak to yourself. If I sat down and I told everyone around me that the moment I graduate, who is texting me? My fault. That the moment I graduate, that I'm going to quit my job and take 2 years to work on myself and do nothing else besides work on myself and try to help people, people would have thought I'm crazy. I would have got, bro, no one would have supported me. Except for, like, you know, my day ones and stuff like that. But outside of that, like, most of my family wouldn't support me. Most of my friends probably wouldn't support me. So I didn't tell nobody nothing. When people just asked me, I was just like, oh, I'm doing me, right? If they didn't understand it, okay, well then don't understand it. It's not my job to make you understand me. You feel me? Especially when they coming at me with this judgmental eye they got. So it's like, why am I gonna prove myself to someone who's just trying to find a new perspective to judge me in? That don't make sense. I don't want to deal with that hurt of being judged by you. So why would I sit here and give you the room to judge me? You know? But anyways, I think I'm gonna just leave that right there. You feel what I mean? If y'all made it to this end, hey, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. Dang, I can't speak. I appreciate you for making it to the end of this video. Hey, God bless you. Show your support if you would like to. Besides that, I hope you have an amazing day, man. God bless y'all.